This site is near Gateside in North Ayrshire. Looking across this ground here, if you've been here about 100 years back, this would have been a huge open quarry producing limestone that was taken down to Glengarnock, to the steelworks. There was a narrow gauge railway that carried it all the way down to a transfer point, went to a standard gauge railway and was carried off to the steelworks. In the distance is Bare Mailing, a small dwelling, and behind that is Dockwra Quarry, another limestone quarry. Over here is Broadstone Hall, and close by was the original site of Broadstone Castle. Here is the area known as Reek Street. Reek Street because a very large, very unusual lime kiln was located here, and the smell coming from the poor quality coal, burning sometimes for 24 hours a day for a week or more, produced a dreadful smell, hence the reek. Walking up here, this is actually the lime kiln itself, extremely large, built of big solid blocks of stone, and wagons full of limestone or coal would have been brought up this slope, and they would empty their load into the top of the shaped, like an ice cream cone lime kiln itself, with air vents below that would be set light, and after many hours the lime itself, the quicklime, would be extracted. A very unpleasant job. But the lime was used for the fields, where it would reduce acidity. Also to be used to make lime wash for painting buildings with. It was also used for various purposes as a sort of powder in mines to stop explosions. Here is what was the open top of the ice cream cone shape, where the actual material was poured in. There were two at this particular site. This site is known as Broadstone. It had another name. I think it was Jenny's Wood. And the story goes that many years ago, one of the workmen here was killed. And in those days, the workman only had the right to a dwelling owned by the company if he was still alive. So if he died, then his family were thrown out. And in this case, the lady with her young children could only find one place, and that was up on Auchenmade moss. Now there was extremely bad winter, and although some of the neighbours tried to reach her house, it wasn't until later on towards spring they were able to get there. And when they arrived, they found the mother dead, two of the children also dead, but they heard a sound coming from the fireplace, and when they looked, the baby had been kept alive until last, the mother having even burnt her clothes to try and provide some heat for the baby. They'd even drunk the lamp oil to try and remain alive. This is this remarkable lime kiln. There was another smaller one on the site, but much smaller. Unfortunately, the area is now full of rubbish, which has been dumped. But here can be seen the two access points. The air would enter at this point. That would cause the fire to burn. And then, when the quicklime was ready, it was extracted from these two openings. But it's an unusually massive lime kiln. There's a site of another lime kiln across the road that had a small railway network associated with it. But there was nothing like the size of this. There's a limestone quarry here. The site is very dangerous. There are still limestone caves here as part of the actual quarrying operation, but it's not an area where you would go.